Does money buy happiness? Now I wanna hear your opinion first, Tyson. Then we'll go into Bashar's. Then we'll go into mine. Obviously, mine I've made it pretty known over this whole podcast, but I'll reiterate why I have some of those feelings.
Yep.
So let's get into you, Tyson.
In a short answer, I don't think that it can. Definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
Single-handedly, I don't think that money can buy happiness. But to relate it to the topic that you were saying, if you gave a family that is down and dirty a little bit, for lack of a better term, if you give them some money, they're going to be happier. And I seen this little study online. I forget who did it. I'll have to pop it in the description or something. But somebody did a study that said they compared how happy people were depending on how much they made, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they took their salaries, asked them, how happy are you? Would more money make you happy? And they found that everybody said yes all the way up until $75,000. And then once you made $75,000, it didn't make you any happier.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of agree with that, because I personally think if you're living in poverty and you are struggling to get by,
That's all you're gonna want.
that's all you're going to want is some money. And a little lump sum of money or more per month or whatever the case may be, that's going to make you a little bit more happier. It's going to take some stress away, which allows you to be happier. I don't think that's just going to buy happiness, but I think less stress is able to have a bit more room for happiness over here. But in my view, money used to be really important to me. Even when we started this podcast, even when we did a couple other business ventures, I feel like a little bit of the root of it was that I wanted to become successful and I wanted to become rich and all this kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's still a big ambition of mine. I don't want to worry about money. I want to have money coming like that, if I'm honest. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it's just not a value to me. I work part-time now. I make not too much money. I don't have too much bills, but like you were saying, I'll just, when the bills come, I'll make that amount and that's it. I don't need much extra. Money to me is really toxic. So
Mhm.
I try to have money really, really low on my list of values, just because I feel like following my passion, chasing my purpose, making sure that I'm okay just mentally, making sure I'm not sad, making sure I'm positive in good moods majority of the time. So that's definitely my goals and ambitions. I read this thing in the monk book. It says that when you're at your most peaceful and your most happy state, it's called your dharma. And your dharma is when you find your purpose and you use it in service of others. So your purpose and your passion are kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? So I'm going to just relate those two words together. So your purpose and your passion, you find that, chase that with all your heart, find that. It takes a long time, but do it. Then you use that in service of others. I feel like regardless of how much money you're being made at that point in time, I feel like you're just going to be happy because you're doing what really makes you happy
And it
and
just
also
comes.
helping other people.
Mhm.
Pitbull said this too, one more time on this rant. Pitbull said that for people who don't think money can buy happiness, it can. You just got to give it away.
Mm-hmm. I was actually just gonna say that too.
That's what he
I
said.
like that.
So money can. He says that money can't necessarily buy happiness, but you can give it away and then watch the happiness that is created off of that for other people, for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Service, man. I'm a big believer in that. I never used to be a really big believer in service. So that's where I would put my happiness, and money is all the way at like number 90.
Fair enough. How
What
about you,
about you?
Bashar?
I would say money could buy happiness to like a certain extent. I wouldn't say, like, I would agree with what Tyson says. Like, it wouldn't be the very, very top thing of mine, but like it's like a need. I don't know. Like without money, like what are we really living for? Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, we have our family, we care about them, we love them, we wanna be with them, we just want those to be our things that we look up to. Do you know what I mean? But if you dig deep down inside, it's like that's what we really need. You know what I mean? You grow up, you work, you have to make money to live for yourself, to take care of other people or whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's you live for it. You know what I mean? Everybody right now, you ask them, why are you going to work? Why are you doing what you do? It's probably to make money. You know what I mean? You gotta do your stuff to pay for your shit. You know what I mean?
So
It's
unhealthy.
very unhealthy, which I agree. Which I agree with what Tyson said. It's like, why is that the only thing you want to worry about? Like, is there not other things that you look forward to, you wake up to? You know what I mean? So I would say, like, for me, it would probably be like not too low for me. I'd probably say it's like in the middle. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I would say you need to split it. It's like a 50-50 kind of thing. Like, you need it, but you don't really need it. You know, if you're living like you said, we're living in like good times where we don't need to make this much to like work. You know what I mean? We're just working part time, doing podcasts on the side, and
Yeah.
making a little cash. You know what I mean?
We're lucky.
We're lucky. We have a good circumstance so where we don't. That's not our number one priority. We wake up like, damn man, we gotta go make this money or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? And so that's what I would say mine would be. I'd say it's like right in the middle.
Definitely. That's a good point.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's definitely a good point. I feel like most people are honestly probably going to be able to
Mhm.
relate
Yeah.
to that one more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, like you said, you do need money. People who have a house, car payment, all that kind of stuff, they're going to be laughing, thinking at me, basically, thinking that you don't need money. You that you don't need money. You're going to be like, what are you saying, champ? I need money.
It's the most basic thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that brings me to my opinion, and the short answer, money can't buy happiness, but the relief of stress produces happiness.
Yeah.
The less stress you have in your life, the happier you will be as a result. Now, in saying that, I talked a lot about figuring out what you need and what you want. And once you figure out what you need and you want, you have to figure out the cash dollar that relates to. So whatever your number may be, let's use an example of $3,000 a month. That's what you need for your bills, for your house, for your car, for your food, and maybe a tiny portion of entertainment.
Yeah.
I think people focus too much on entertainment in life, but that's just my opinion. You
Yeah.
live your life however you would like. Obviously, if entertainment's more important for you, then that's more of a need in your life. But let's go back to the $3,000. $3,000 a month is not a lot.
No.
It's not a lot in any standard, in any shape, way, or form, especially if you work a full-time job.
It's only $36,000 a year.
Yeah. So that I would say is the bare minimum. If you
Poverty.
don't make $3,000 a month, you're struggling.
Oh, yeah, that's poverty.
That is poverty.
For sure.
But in saying that, if you make more than $3,000 a month, depending on how you're making that $3,000 a month, it's also not going to make you happier. Because having more needs or having more wants than needs doesn't relate to happiness. If you're giving up more of your life in order for that entertainment, why? You know?
I like what you said there. When you're saying that depending on how you're making it and how much you're getting, it's not going to make you more happy.
Yeah, it's not.
Because I know people, or maybe not personally, but I feel like we all know somebody who works a job that they don't like and makes good money, but you see how unhappy a person is.
Yeah, like they do a lot of fun things. Yeah, cool. They might be taking trips every year. They might be going to those movies every weekend, going
Nice
to
car,
the
nice
club.
house.
They're spending more time at work though.
They're spending more of their
100%,
actual
yeah.
time pursuing those entertainments.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying entertainment's bad, but there's a lot of forms of entertainment that aren't a need.
For
Obviously,
sure.
you need entertainment, but there's a lot of ways you can get free entertainment.
So
For
then,
sure.
do you think that in a beautiful world that every person in our world could have money?
I would say
Do
this.
we have enough money for everybody to have a good life?
Yes,
And unfortunately,
but we don't have enough land.
yeah, and I was gonna say one thing too. Unfortunately, I feel like if that scenario were to happen, it's just
Would the world still be functional with everybody
I don't-
having money?
I personally don't think so. I feel like the poor need to be poor and the rich need to be rich, man. I feel like that's the way it's gonna go. Because I just feel like if you spread out everything equally, the value of it goes down. Because why would you want it if everybody has the same thing? If everybody's equal and given the same opportunities, there's no reason to drive for. That's kind of like what is this country, man? Sweden,
So
Something like
like
that?
yeah,
where they
a
don't
lot of
drive to
those-
do that kind of stuff. They just like to be regular people because if you are a special person making,
This much money.
yeah, you can't make that much money. If you have a booming business, you're capped.
Yeah.
In
I
saying
see
that
that.
though, those are some of the happiest countries in the world.
It's true, but it's just like, damn, man.
And this is
hard to
I'll
say.
just add to this. This is why. So in one way, a capitalistic society is very, very good for innovation. It's very good for like creating new things
Because they want that top spot.
because they want to create new things to bring to the public. But in saying that, a socialist society, a true socialist society with government involvement and everything, it's less stress.
Definitely less
And
stress.
that's why I feel, even though you might not want to, say, become a doctor because you're not going to get the extra pay. You're not going to want to become any type of high-level job, maybe personally. But in saying that, the people that do go after those jobs are going after them for the right reason. They're not becoming a doctor for the cash. They're finding what they truly enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of what they enjoy doing, they know that their contribution to society is the same as the next. The person working at your McDonald's drive-thru is making the same contribution to society as the doctor who you were sitting in the waiting room for.
Yeah.
In a capitalist society, though, we don't view that as the same contribution.
Yeah,
and that's where the true divide is. People that they feel that when in a socialist society, they're not kind of getting paid what they're worth. But
it's a tough one.
They're getting their time for what they're worth. You know?
Yeah, I definitely understand. It's hard to say because I was going to relate it to the time and the money too. Like we were saying, just to put it back, the person that spends more money at work, more time at work or more time doing this, more time doing that probably gets more money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that's where I get that feeling where I don't think money is that important because to me, my time is worth so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So my time is just so valuable to me. What I do with my time, even if it's just relaxing or lots of times, obviously, it's productive as well. But my time is very important to me. So there's not a number, and it sounds crazy. People are going to be like, oh, this guy's nuts. But there's not really a number I don't think I could put on my time.
Yeah, so I'll relate this to a personal story for you guys. Like, when I was working at Treehouse during school, my schedule, I never slept in. So that was the first thing. I didn't have weekends to myself.
Yeah.
Because I was working. I was in school and working at the same time. I was working 4 6.5-hour shifts a week, which might not sound like a lot, but when you're going to school for 7.5 hours 5 times a week, and you're working 6.5 hours 4 times a week, that adds up.
For sure.
You don't have time for yourself. And yeah, I had a lot of money.
There's going to be a lot of students who can relate to you.
Yeah, even like student related, but not even student related, like just life related, I was making a good amount of money. It was almost livable. If I was working a full-time job, it probably would have been livable at that time, at least. Obviously, nowadays, things are worth more money. So maybe not nowadays, but back then, it was a good lump of money for people. I'll put it out there. I was making like $800 a paycheck. $700-800, depending
for a student, that wasn't bad at that time.
For a student, I had almost no bills. But the thing is, I was so unhappy. I was spending a lot of money on things to make me happy, but I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
In the root of my mind, when I'm at work, I'm not enjoying my time there. I don't want to be there. And because I had so little time to myself, so let's relate it to somebody that might be, instead of going to school, you're working 2 jobs. So you're getting up in the morning, you're going to work, then you're going to a different job at night, which is something that a lot of people can relate to. Because nowadays, you can't really live without having a second job unless you have a job that makes a good enough amount of money.
You definitely need 2 incomes per household.
Yeah, exactly. So in saying that, the people that are working 2 jobs, you can't enjoy your life. You're spending all your life somewhere else to maintain your level of living. And I just want to relate that back to finishing it off, my view on money. Obviously, I said money can't buy happiness, but the relief of stress can make you happy. Where I would rate money on the scale, I agree with Bashar as much as I disagree with Bashar.
I know you are right. That's a shitty thing.
You need to have a balance. It needs to be somewhere in the middle to be healthy with it. But for me, it definitely isn't in the middle.
No, me neither.
I don't think about money. When I wake up in the morning, I think about, hey, do I want to go work out today? I think of what I would want to do that day. I don't think about how am I going to make money today. That's not the first thing.
That's the thing. For you do that. But for regular society,
but I feel like nobody should wake up in the morning.
They shouldn't.
I don't think anybody should wake up in the morning and say, I need to make money today.
That's what a lot of people say.
I feel like people should wake up in the morning and, hey, I need to be happier today. Hey, I'm feeling a little sluggish. I need to exercise.
But they're probably
today.
waking up at 9 a.m. Man, I want to get up.
About to go to work.
That's a different story.
If
you're waking up at 9 a.m. and tired and drained and
that's how it is. If you're in a regular household, you got 2 kids, 1 kid, you barely even probably get to see him because you go to work at sometimes I don't know, it's different shift. Let's say it's 7 to 7. You know what I mean? You start at 7 a.m. You finish
There's
at
no
6
way you're working
p.m.
12-hour shifts.
Well, even if it's just
Bro.
an 8.
Most jobs are 9.
Okay,
Most
we'll
jobs
do
are 9 to 5.
right? 9 to
Let's
5.
do 9 to 5. It's more relatable.
Whatever, 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
You get home 5 p.m. You probably spend around 2 hours. You got like 2-3 hours, but in like a successful way, if you were thinking about that, as soon as you're off your 9 to 5, you want to do a side gig. You know what I mean? Do something that could possibly help you in the long run, because eventually that'll be full time, and then you can take out the your work time. You know what I mean? But in like a regular person's mind, it's 9 to 5. They get home, make a little food. It's 5:30, 6 p.m. You got a kid. What else you gonna do? It's 6 p.m. already. How much time you really have to yourself or to your family, where you gotta go to sleep and repeat it again?
How many hours are you sleeping a night?
That's what that goes. Hold on, that goes back to the thing though. It's 1/3. If we relate it, let's relate it. Sleep for 8, work for 8. You got 8 left. That's 24 hours. That's crazy. So you got 8 hours to yourself.
And
hour.
that's if you sleep for 8.
That's
and I'm not saying that you shouldn't sleep for 8.
Some people do 4, 5, 6.
I'm saying that if you can sleep less, you should.
Definitely.
So, but let's say that you got 8 hours. You got 8 hours for yourself, right?
That's not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time at all. What are you gonna do?
That is a lot of time.
That's only a third of your life.
You want to do stuff for your side gig. You want to spend time with your family or whatever it is.
So you got to understand first where those 8 hours are. Obviously, not all of those 8 hours are your time. You spend probably an hour in commute a day if you're working.
That's what I'm saying.
You probably spend an hour making food, cleaning yourself, cleaning the house.
Another hour just necessity.
So you only have 6 hours at the end of the day.
I wanted you to bring this, when you're editing, I want there to be like a little thing. Muhammad Ali said it the best. There was a little interview. He did it all to a T. He said like you sleep for X amount of hours, entertainment X amount of hours, just everything X amount of hours. At the end of the day, you're going to be already 55, 60 years old. You're like, damn, where did all this time go? You know what I mean? Like, for your whole life, how much hours do you think you're sleeping? How much hours do you think you're putting into activity, entertainment? You know what I mean? All that shit adds up so much.
It's insane. Think about it. Think about that 1/3 aspect. If you live to 100, let's just make this very easy, right? If you live to or actually 90, that's even easier. Let's go 90. You die at 90.
I wanted to add percentages into it.
Yeah, I did. I was gonna go 33.3, boy.
3 repeating. Gotta add the little top hat.
But you live to 90. You die at 90. 30 years you were sleeping and 30 years you worked. That's 60 years.
That's what I'm saying.
You only had 30 years to yourself. Yeah, that's a lot. Don't get me wrong. You have to be thankful for that.
But then,
come on, man. Them numbers, them percentages in my view, them things are backwards.
And 90 is not the average lifespan. 75 is.
That's what I mean.
So if you live to 75 years, you only have 25 years of your own time.
And let's break it down. 25 years of what kind of time? You know what I mean? What do you have? You'll be splitting
so you probably
that
only
too.
have 20 years of like
actual your time.
A third, probably a third of that third is you time. A third of it is entertainment, and a third of it is doing stuff for other people.